I took the Christmas overnight shift because no one else wanted it. That's the honest reason. No deeper motivation, no bravery, just practicality. I worked private security for a regional office complex on the outskirts of Cheyenne. 3 low-rise buildings, shared parking lot, badge access, cameras in every hallway. The kind of place that feels important during business hours and completely pointless after dark. By December 24th, the buildings were effectively dead. Most employees were gone until the new year. Lights off, offices locked, heat set low. Even management had already left town, which meant 12 hours alone with monitors, a thermos of coffee, and a checklist that never changed. I signed up for the shift because overtime paid double, and I didn't have family nearby. It felt easier to sit at a desk than stare at a quiet apartment. At 7:58 p.m., I badged in. The system beeped, logged my name, timestamped the start of my shift. Everything normal. There's a difference between an empty building during business hours and one at night. During the day, empty offices still feel temporary, like someone just stepped away. At night, they feel abandoned. Not spooky, just stripped down to function. Corridors stop pretending to be friendly. I did my first walkthrough around 9 p.m. Building A, then B, then C, doors locked, emergency lights on, thermostats reading low 60s, no alarms, no motion alerts. Back at the security desk, I pulled up the camera grid. 24 feeds, all static. Parking lot dusted with snow, no cars. Wind pushing a loose plastic bag across the far corner of the lot. I noted it in the log out of habit. At 10:13 p.m., my screen flashed. Motion detected, Building B, Floor 2. I frowned. Motion sensors were supposed to be disabled after hours unless manually rearmed. Most employees forgot to do that. I clicked the feed. Empty hallway, lights off, nothing moving. Probably HVAC airflow or a sensor glitch. I cleared the alert and logged it. 10 minutes later, another alert. Same hallway, same emptiness. By midnight, I'd have 5 alerts. Always Building B, always second floor, always the same stretch of hallway near the finance offices. I pulled up the access logs. No badge entries since 6:04 p.m. when the last cleaning crew left. That should have been the end of it. False positives happen. Sensors aren't perfect. Still, I grabbed my jacket and did another walkthrough. The hallway looked exactly like it should. No lights on, no doors open, no signs of tampering. I even stood still for a full minute, watching the sensor indicator light. Nothing. Back at the desk, I checked the logs again. That's when I noticed something I shouldn't have. Under active users, my name appeared twice. Same ID, same spelling. One marked on duty. One marked active session, Building B. I assumed it was a software error. The system was old. The company cheaped out on updates. Duplicate sessions happened sometimes when someone forgot to log out properly. I clicked into the session details. The second login showed a timestamp of 11:47 p.m. That was impossible. I was sitting at the desk at 11:47 p.m., drinking coffee and scrolling my phone. I checked the camera feed timestamps. At 11:48 p.m., Building B's elevator camera showed the doors opening on the second floor. No one visible inside. The doors opened. Stayed open for 5 seconds. Then closed. No movement, no shadows, no obvious cause. I felt a tightening in my chest, not panic, not fear. Something closer to irritation mixed with unease. Like paperwork that didn't add up. I logged the anomaly. Then I locked my workstation and logged back in. The duplicate session disappeared. For 15 minutes, everything was quiet. At 1:02 a.m., the finance wing lights turned on. Not flickering, not gradual, full illumination down the hallway. I stared at the screen, waiting for motion detection to trigger. Nothing. Lights shouldn't turn on without a manual switch or a scheduled override. The building automation system was dumb, but not that dumb. I radioed dispatch, standard procedure. No response. Christmas Eve skeleton crew. I'd been warned. I didn't go check immediately. I watched the feed for several minutes. The lights stayed on. Then, one by one, office doors began unlocking. Not opening, just unlocking, the small green indicators flashing on. Click, click, click. Down the hall. I didn't hear anything, obviously. Cameras don't capture sound. But I didn't need to. I stood up. I took the elevator this time instead of the stairs. When the doors opened on the second floor, the hallway lights were on, but the doors were locked again. All of them. The system had reset itself. I checked the time, 1:19 a.m. My radio crackled once, then went silent. I walked the length of the hall slowly, checking handles. Everything secure. On my way back, I noticed something new. A faint smear on the polished floor near the elevator. Not dirt, not water. Salt. Like what sticks to boots after walking through snow. There shouldn't have been any. I looked down at my own shoes. Clean, dry. I didn't finish the walkthrough. Back at the desk, I pulled the activity log. Someone had unlocked those doors. Someone with my credentials. The system showed remote access override. User, Daniel P. Location, Building B, Floor 2. Time, 1:04 a.m. I sat back in my chair and stared at my hands. I hadn't left the desk at 1:04 a.m. I hadn't touched the console. I hadn't authorized anything. I changed my password immediately. The system accepted it. Then, without warning, logged me out. When a login screen reappeared, a notification popped up. Session active. User already logged in. I didn't panic. I didn't run. I did what security training teaches you to do when something feels off. I documented. I took photos of the screen with my phone. I wrote down timestamps. I noted anomalies. Then I noticed something worse. The camera feed from the desk, my camera, was active. Not recording. Live. I was looking at myself from an angle that didn't exist. A view from behind the desk. From where someone would stand if they were leaning over my shoulder. At 2:11 a.m., the access log showed my badge exiting Building C. That was impossible. Building C was on the other side of the complex. I was still at the desk. I checked the parking lot cameras. The gate arm lifted. A vehicle exited. No headlights. The license plate unreadable due to glare. The system logged the exit under my name. I stood up slowly. Every instinct I had told me the same thing. Whatever this was, it wasn't a glitch anymore. Someone knew how the system worked. Someone knew my credentials. Someone was testing limits. At 2:58 a.m., the last alert came in. Motion detected. Security office. The camera didn't switch feeds. It didn't need to. I was already there. The alert wasn't for movement in front of the camera. It was for movement behind it. I didn't look at the screen again. I stood up, grabbed my jacket, and walked, calmly, to the back exit. I badged out. The system beeped. Logged my departure. I didn't wait to see if another session stayed active. I reported everything the next day. IT blamed a remote access vulnerability. Management said the logs were inconclusive. My account was deactivated. The incident was closed. I quit 2 weeks later. Last Christmas, out of curiosity, I checked the company's public job board. They were hiring overnight security. Same location. Same shift. December 24th, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. When I logged into my old employee portal, out of habit more than anything, I saw something that made my chest go tight again. Underscheduled shifts. December 24th, overnight. Status, confirmed. I don't know who worked that shift. I don't know if anyone did. But every year since, my name still appears. Logged in. Active. Waiting.